Hi there, my name's James and today I'll be showing you a quick tour of Zeus Energy. Zeus provides property managers and tenants with a complete real-time breakdown of the different uses of electricity in your apartments, helping you to target energy efficiency programs, improve the occupant experience and increase property safety. Our electricity monitoring device easily installs into the electricity panel of each apartment as shown. The monitor clamps around the mains wire and our hub sends data back via Wi-Fi to our servers. Our algorithms are able to identify each individual appliance based on its signature electrical fingerprint as it draws power. Okay, so let's get started with the software demonstration. So we open up the main homepage and are shown an overview of our portfolio of properties. Here we can see how much electricity has been used by each property over the course of the week, as well as how overall electricity use has changed throughout the week. So here, for example, we can see clearly how electricity usage has dropped overnight as people are asleep. So choosing one of our properties, let's choose the district to go and dive in on. We can now go and see an overview of that property. We have a comparison benchmark that shows how we are performing against a number of similar properties that are also use Zeus. We have some maintenance alerts, we'll come back to that later, and we also have a breakdown of electricity costs by apartment and by appliance, as well as some recommendations for what we can do to reduce that cost. So let's focus on apartment costs. So we can clearly see here a few things of note. So apartment 101 is using far more electricity than anticipated, and also apartment 105, a vacant property, is using far more than expected and is maybe something we should investigate. We can see that this is potentially driven by AC units, where we've got a little warning sign that suggests that our AC usage is higher than it should be. And this is emphasized by some of our recommendations, such as communicating AC overuse, particularly apartment 101. And we can see the annual return of some of these measures, as well as the payback period. Okay, so let's investigate what's going on in apartment 101. So here we get an overview of all the different costs going on here. So we've got clearly see that the AC unit is the main driver of this cost, and we've got a little warning sign suggesting that something's going on. Again, if we compare apartment 101's usage across all apartments in the district, we can see that while they're kind of about average for most appliances, their AC unit is using far more electricity than their neighbours, and really suggesting something's going on here. And if you look at the recommendations for things to do, we can again see communicate the AC overuse, but also replace condenser, which gives us an annual return of $200 and a payback of 2 years. And we'll go into that when we look into the maintenance issues with the AC units. So we know something's going on with the AC unit. We've also noted that something's going on with one of the light bulbs. We've detected that there's been a power surge and one of the light bulbs has blown, and we can send someone around to fix that. So let's focus in on the AC unit. So here we get an overview of all AC maintenance, and we can see that we've been able to detect some issues going on. So for example, in apartment 301, we've noticed the motor's behaving erratically. Apartment 104 maybe needs a replacement filter. And in apartment 101, we've noticed that the compressor's stopped. So if we select 101 to schedule maintenance, we get an overview of our likelihood of occupancy in that apartment based on Zeus's identification of when the apartment's in use. So here, for example, we find that potentially this tenant comes back for lunch on Tuesdays, sometime between sort of midday and 2 o'clock. And Wednesdays they maybe work from home, often going out around 11 o'clock and around 4 o'clock. So we can then schedule maintenance based on whether we need the tenant to be in there or whether it can be done when we're out of the property. Zeus also provides insights into fire alerts and security. So on this page, we can see that, for example, in apartment 103, they've left their hair straighteners on, representing a fire risk, but the tenant's not in the property, so we can get the tenant's permission to go around and turn that off before anything dangerous happens. We've also seen, for example, that there's potentially been a power surge in one of the apartments, or that the oven igniter is malfunctioning. Looking at security alerts, we see that we know one of the tenants is on vacation and their lights turned on at 2:30 in the morning, indicating a potential break-in, And in apartment 105, one of our vacant apartments, we see that the lights turned on at 3 a.m. and shortly afterwards the TV was unplugged, again indicating that there's potential break-in and we need to send someone over. Finally, we've got the sustainability reporting. So here we go back to our overview of all the properties in our portfolio. We can see how much electricity they were using that month and the month-on-month and year-on-year change, as well as the overall CO2 emissions to help with our ESG reporting. So if we again zoom in on the district, we can then start to see the year-on-year comparison across appliances, and we've noticed how we've really managed to reduce the AC and lighting costs as a result of some of our interventions that we've done. And if we look at daily lighting usage, for example, we can really clearly see how around mid-June, July, we implemented some new LED light bulbs being introduced, and we can really easily see that impact and measure the impact on our overall lighting usage and have the overall year-to-date savings as a result. Finally, looking at the tenant experience to help them reduce their electricity bills, and if you're paying their bill as well, kind of drive those costs down further, we see a comparison across all different neighbours. So we can see that, for example, this unit, they're using a lot more AC than their neighbours. Same with lighting and sort of always on load, so something to investigate, and we see here suggested actions to do that. But also actually what they're doing really well is they're hardly using their dishwasher, which represents an energy saving here. We give them an overview of their estimated monthly spend, as well as how much of their budget they've used and how long they've got to go with that. So here we've got 5 days until the budget resets, and they still have sort of 30% of their designated electricity budget to use. And finally, we've got a timeline of activity in the apartment. So we've seen here that the washing machine's turned off, and we can give them a notification that the laundry's done. We can see here when the iron's turned on and off, and also likewise down here when the fridge door's been left open, and we can send them a notification or send someone around if they're not in the property to go and make sure to check it out and make sure their food doesn't spoil. Finally, we can give them an overview of the impact they're having by making these measures. So we see here that this particular tenant has saved nearly 3,000 kilowatts of electricity, amounting to just over 0.8 tons of CO2. But to give some clarity on what that means and kind of give people a bit of an understanding, we've equated that to miles driven, flights, and also impact on things like air pollution, just to really kind of emphasize the impact that our tenants are having, and also to kind of relate it to something that they really care about. So thank you very much for taking this time to review Zeus Energy. Hopefully that gives you an idea of the insights you can get from installing our device in your apartment and how much easier it makes it to reduce your electricity bills and manage your properties. We're still in private beta testing stage, but you can visit us for more information at www.getzeusenergy.com and contact us for more details.